What's up, guys? So here with this week's Q&A, and we will kick it off right now. What tips do you have for a young college student trying to coach themselves in powerlifting? Um, Honestly, like, YouTube is a great resource. Look at, you know, powerlifting coaches, in particular, people who've coached powerlifters. Something like Juggernaut Training, I know their channel isn't as active as it used to be, but there's a lot of gold there. Chad Wesley Smith, great powerlifting coach, great powerlifter. Joey Flex, obviously he coaches the best of the best. Tons of resources. Read some books, man. You're in college, right? Read some books. Some books on anatomy would be great in conjunction with books on, periodization and things like that. Um, but yeah, and then run some cookie cutter programs. Run like a 5-3-1, boring but big. And not only run it, see what happens, and then make your own adjustments to that program based on your findings and how it works with you. Don't just run it and be like, oh, it's not working anymore, and completely jump programs. Like, come up with a reason why you think it's not working for you anymore. Like, what would you change about that program to make work for you, and see how that happens. I think there's a lot of value in that, like taking an established program that's already there and running it till it doesn't work, and then making adjustments with the same basis, because that's something that can really help you coaching later down the line. Most coaches develop their own sort of styles or systems, if you will, but you have to be able to adjust your system and your philosophy to lifters. So I think that's a great way to go about it as well. I could talk about that for a lot longer, to be honest. What are your thoughts on adding non-weightlift or mod weightlifting movements to increase power and speed in the deadlift? I assume you mean like Olympic weightlifting. They can, but the learning curve on them is a little for the trade-off. I would just, if you're focused on power and speed in the deadlift, like, do your deadlifts faster. Like, do lighter deadlifts and lift them fast would be the main thing. I would also look at something, instead of like doing a full power clean, like maybe do like some clean pulls can help. Like seated box jumps with your deadlift stance, or standing box jumps with your deadlift stance. There's a lot lower barrier to entry ways of going about it. Even like doing a deadlift stance squat with light to moderate weight that allows you to move it really quickly. Are things I would look at just in relation to increasing power and speed on the deadlift. Now, in general, yes, the Olympic weightlifting movements are fucking fantastic for power and speed. And if it's something you want to learn, by all means, go ahead and learn them. But the way you phrase the question for power and speed in the deadlift, there are just better ways. Thoughts on going to failure on compound lifts? If you're a power lifter, I really wouldn't recommend going to failure on like your powerlifting movements. But using other variations and going to failure with them is perfectly fine. If your goals aren't specifically in powerlifting, it's perfectly viable to take your compound lifts to failure. Tips on increasing OHP without bloat maxing with heavy singles 4 times a week, higher frequency OHP specialization work. Yes, it would work. My biggest thing for OHP specifically, if you look, there's a playlist on my channel called the Dreadnought Overhead Press Program. It's a great peaking program, and it's 6 weeks in total. So if you're looking for a quick boost in your OHP, definitely give that a look. I had success with that program. I think it's fantastic. It's a 3 times a week OHP program. It relies a little bit on some auto regulation and being smart on your part, but give it a look and give it a go. Thoughts on bodybuilders of old cat backing their rows and if it's safe? I mean, I'm not going to recommend anybody cat back their rows. However, the body is highly adaptable and will get stronger in a lot of different positions, even quote unquote unsafe positions. if you start low and work your way up, there's people who cap back 700-pound deadlifts in powerlifting competition, and guess what? That cap back 700-pound deadlift beats a 600-pound deadlift with picture perfect technique. So again, I'm not going to recommend it personally, but it can be safe if you start small and build your way up to it. Bit of a dumb idea, but would 2 sets of a super stretch normal / cambered bar partial bench mixed with 2 sets of heavy high pin presses work better than just 3 sets of normal bench for both triceps and chest? I don't know. That's kind of a weird way to go about it. I would probably just do bench press and then do both of those, to be honest with you. I typically do 3 compound movements, and they get, lighter to a lesser degree, especially like my CrossFit style. And, your idea seems more bodybuilding, but you could probably take a little from this. But I like to go like something for power, then something for strength, and then something for a deeper stretch. Like, for instance, today I went front squats, then I went rice deadlifts, and then I did a very high deficit stiff leg deadlift were my 3 main movements back to back to back. So yeah, that's kind of a weird question, but if it's better, but it could certainly work. How would I program sumo deads for someone running Smolov Jr. for squats? I probably wouldn't do them. Maybe like 60% to 70% for some cat type work, some compensatory acceleration training. But I honestly, Smolov Jr. is very squat focused, and that's what you need to be focused on. I still think you can deadlift within it, don't get me wrong. But I wouldn't be pushing anything heavy. Maybe going to 80%, but not nearly approaching failure, and making sure the rep quality is there. Yeah, sumo doesn't beat you up quite as much as conventional, so you can probably get away with it a little bit more. But you want to be fully recovered for your squats, and I hope you're in a caloric surplus. Have I ever seen a skinny person drink Diet Coke? Yes, I have. I've seen skinny people drink Diet Drink. I'm not going to answer the rest of your questions. They will be answered in another video. Do you do any prehab for long-term shoulder health and or hip health, mobility drills, rotator cuff work, what's worth and what's not? I mean, that's kind of its own thing, I guess. I do, face pulls are fantastic. That's something I've done forever. I like doing like very light dumbbells and doing an isometric hold with them, like a front raise and just holding them for time. I have some of my clients do that, and they've been reporting how good that makes their shoulders feel. It makes my shoulders feel good. Honestly, the biggest thing with joint health in particular is it comes down to programming and load management. Obviously, as athletes, especially somebody like me who wants to just fucking do more and run my head through a wall, it's easy to push to redline and beyond, and that's where most of your injuries are going to occur. And some of these prehab stuff can help. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's completely worthless, but nothing, absolutely nothing, not prehab, not elbow sleeves, knee sleeves, or anything, is going to be as effective as, smart programming and load management. That said, I do the McGill Big 3, like I said, the face pulls, high rep dumbbell hammer curls, a lot of stuff like getting blood flow to certain areas with various movements, things of that nature. Just general stuff that you can just Google or YouTube, like what are good movements for this or what are good movements for that. I do mostly that, for lack of a better term. And it's just being consistent with those. But again, it comes down to load management at the end of the day. Top 5 supplements, off the top of my head, creatine, Sodium, that's not a supplement, but I'm going to say it. I'd probably throw magnesium in there. Actiflex, the horse supplement. Duh. I don't consider whey protein a supplement, so I'm not going to say that here. I consider that a food product. But creatine, sodium, the horse supplement, magnesium, caffeine. And technically caffeine's probably a drug, but we'll throw that in the supplement thing. Can't squat below parallel. What stretches would you recommend? I would recommend cleaning the sand off your vagina. Seriously though, I like stripper squats. Just grab onto a pole like a stripper and, hold yourself on that pole, like this. Just hold it gently. But no, seriously, like hold onto the rack or the pole or whatever the case may be, and support yourself and lower yourself down till you're below parallel. Start with a really narrow stance, gradually widen it out. Zach Tellender also has a video, I think it's called like the 5-minute squat, where he just gets into a bodyweight squat and tries to hold it for 5 minutes. Doing that over time, gradually get yourself down there. And like Ed Cohen says, open your taint. When do I think I'll get 10K subs? I have no idea, dude. I really don't know. My channel growth kind of went crazy, bro, for me. At the beginning of last year, because I lost weight, and when you show a little bit of abs on camera, people like that. It's just how the internet works. And then it died off towards the end of the year, so I have no idea. If it happens, that'd be great. But I'm not I don't sit there and look at my sub count. Like I didn't even know I had 7,000 subscribers until Sam Sheetar told me. Congratulations on it. So I don't know. It'd be cool to get it within the next year. We'll see. Thoughts on alternating strength training and bodybuilding training throughout the year, or better to do them concurrently? Whatever keeps you engaged and in the gym and consistent is going to be what's best. If we were talking about like hyper optimizing, bro, it'd probably be taking depending upon what stage you're at, taking a year and just doing bodybuilding training and then going back to pure strength training after that. And really maximize the muscles you built, and spending a whole year building those muscles, not just like a 8-week bodybuilding hypertrophy training block or two. How technical is the front squat, and how long does it take to master? It's kind of technical, but it's also very intuitive. It's honestly, a couple cues, and it's really not that hard of a movement to do. Front squats feel more natural to me than back squats. I can't front rack, unfortunately. My shoulder mobility is what it is. So I do the cross arm grip, and sometimes it's uncomfortable and it chokes you out a little bit. But the movement itself feels much more natural with the bar in front versus on your back. So I would personally say that once you start practicing it, you'll master it quicker than you master the back squat. Last but not least, I know I am 3 days late to the party, but pec flies or any other vanity hypertrophy accessories, do they contribute to strength movements, or are they only beneficial for putting on show muscle? Yes, they contribute to the strength movements. The bigger the muscle, the more potential it has for strength. It's not something where you're going to do pec flies and you're going to get stronger at pec flies and bigger pecs, and you're instantly going to go bench and holy fuck, I just added 25 pounds to my bench. It doesn't work that way. But you're going to build a lot more muscle. You're going to build a lot more resiliency. And over time, you're going to take that bigger muscle and you're going to start benching again, or you've been benching alongside these pec flies, and then you're going to kind of take away the pec flies a little bit to focus more on that bench press, and you're going to take the new muscle that you built, even if it is vanity muscle, bro, and start peaking it for strength. And yes, it's anytime you make your muscles bigger, you make these little accessory movements bigger, stronger, etc. The direct carryover may not necessarily be there, like something, whereas, if your regular bench press is 100 kilos and you get your close grip bench press to 105 kilos, your regular bench press if not immediately, within very short order, is going to be 110 kilos plus. But these little movements, when you get stronger at them over time, it's going to make your ceiling higher. It's not gonna direct carryover. Not gonna be, oh, my pec fly got stronger and stuff, and now my bench is automatically stronger. Maybe if you're like a super noob, perhaps, but over time, those and other minor movements are going to, again, make that ceiling higher and higher. And ultimately, should you stay injury free and continue consistently training that ceiling for your bench press, and I'm just using bench press as an example because you said pec flies, is going to be higher, and that goes with other smaller movements, lower body, core, back, etc. It's going to make your ceiling higher for all of your other lifts. That's it, guys. A lot of good questions this week. I appreciate that. So, peace.